Alright, I want to make a video to kind of show how I did this so you can understand why that's like that. Okay, basically back here on the back, what you see with the bar and the tube is this right here. This rectangle is representing the frame as a rectangle shape. This piece up here is that piece of tubing. Of course, you have the cage, the bar from the cage. This right here is a gusset going from the bottom of that tube down to the frame. There's another plate that drops down, and then there's with a hole cut in it with a hole saw, and there's a piece of the excess cage tube going across to the other side as a cross member underneath. Now what I did was, instead of just butt welding that to the top of that tube, I took a hole saw and cut a hole in the top, cut a hole in the bottom, and run that all the way through that tube and welded it on the bottom, on the inside what I could, and on the top to make it where it was sturdy. Now on the front, what I did was I took my scrap pieces like this, where I had to cut some of the bars down, and basically, again, this is the frame, this is right behind the front cab mount, this is the tube, piece of rectangle tubing. Again, I hole saw and cut through the tube, run the down bar, stubbed it through this, welded it. There is a gusset on the bottom, and it goes, small gusset, and it goes over to the outer side of the back side of the rocker panel. Now right here is a floorboard. Now they sent plates with it to weld to the floor, and then they wanted you to weld to the plate, but I wasn't doing that crap. No, it's not a unibody. It don't need to be done like that. So I welded the plate to the floor, but I took a hole saw and cut a hole in it also, run that stub bar all the way through, welded it all up solid on each side, at each surface. I bent the top of it with a tubing bender, bent the other end of the down bar, and I put a solid slug in it, 3 inches into each side, slid it together, drilled holes, plug welded it, welded the seam, and then I welded the bar to the main hoop up here. Now the main hoop was a different story, because where it actually come down, it was setting, here's the frame, cab mount, rubber on the cab mount. It actually was going to come down right on top of the back cab mount. Okay, you have to have your cab mounts. I wasn't going through all that. So what I did was I cleaned the floor up with a flat disc, 80 grit flat disc. I welded the plate to the floor. I welded a second plate to that plate. I did hole saw the top plate so the bar would drop into it, so it'd have a little bit of something to catch it. But what I did was I cut a slot, and the cab has 2 layers. There's a layer here, and then down about an inch or so there's another layer to the floor of the cab back there, because it's the cab mounts. It's bracing basically. So basically I just went and cut it through, punched a hole, went underneath, plasma cutter, cut it through again. I dropped a piece of plate down, I welded it to the frame right on top, and then I come over here with another piece of plate, welded this seam, laid it on top of that plate, and welded it down. Now granted, this is just 3/16 plate, but I wanted something to tie that plate over to the frame. Now, I know I'm not no kind of engineer or any type of fabricator, or claim to be some kind of super fabricator, but I wanted it solid to the frame at those 3 points, which is actually 6 points total. There's 2 more bars that go from the seatbelt bar down to the center of the cab, which I'm not going to put in. I'm just not going to use them. So I ended up actually using one of them is right there. The other one is underneath. But that's how I did that. And I kind of wanted to explain it, because that kind of looks funky, but it's solid. I mean, it's welded on the top, inside half as far as I could reach with the welder. And then on the bottom, it's welded, it's plugged, on the bottom side, I cut a piece of plate to cap it. The gussets, and then the cross member, which that stuff's basically what they use for a universal transmission cross member, that tubing, wall thickness. So it's solid. I went ahead and welded that bar in. I just went ahead and welded it on the top. So, and then I went underneath and welded it too. I'm just going to leave it in there. And then I'll take me some sheet metal, and I'll cut my pieces and angles, and I'll close all that in, and box that in. By the time, adding the weight of this, by the time I change the seats, which I'm probably not going to use these seats, I've got 2 up there. By the time I change the seats, losing the door panels, the excess stuff in the doors, and then losing the bed cover and some other stuff, I'll probably come out close to breaking even as far as gaining this weight and losing the other weight. I put that on there. My kids bought me that just like they bought me this. Actually, I've got about, I think, 6 of these things. And I just tacked it on there. It was already painted, but green and the gray and cleared, but I'm going to do something different with that. I'm probably going to I've got either bottles are going to mount here. I don't know yet how I'm going to do all that, or I might mount them either side of the fuel cell back here. I don't know. I'm going to move the cell, I think. I don't know if I'll move it back or yet or not, because I may need that to put weights or something. I don't know. The thing is, I got people who keep wanting to say, hey, bring your truck out, run me, come out and run me. So I'm going to put a cage and shits in it. I'll go out and play around with them. But I didn't honestly build this truck to drag race, street race, really do anything. It's a damn hot rod. It's my enjoyment. I have fun with it. So, and that was the whole point of the thing, was to have fun with. Take it to car shows, go around, just, again, have fun. So, and I think I've stated in another video, if I get this stuff sold through the course of the winter, I've got some old tractors and stuff that I've inherited through the years from family members, and some other stuff like my grandfather and all, that some of it I just don't have no use for, and I'm really wanting to get rid of the property where it's at. So, because again, it's just sitting vacant, there's no use paying taxes on something you can't use. So, and I've got a guy that really wants the property, so if I get all this sold, this is going to get a 540 from Blueprint Engines put in it. And then I'm going to give this engine to my son for his truck. But that's about the skinny of it. Like I stated before, I'm not any kind of fabrication engineer or professional roll cage installation technician or anything like that. I just did what I thought was safe, secure, solid. I wanted every part of it to the frame as solid as I could. I really wasn't concerned about weight. This truck's a lot lighter than what people think it is. I got rid of one battery, put a bigger alternator on it, got rid of a battery, but then I added 2 driveline loops. So, but the bed cover coming off, door panels are coming out, losing the glass and going to plastic in the back window. All that starts at, and then losing 5 pounds worth of carpet and shit off the back of the cab that ain't going back in. So, but I'm keeping the carpet on the floor. I put new carpet in and I'm keeping it. So, it's going to get some sound deadening mat put on the back of the cab, and it's already got some under the carpet. So, take the big mirrors off, put some smaller mirrors on it. start putting it on a little bit of a diet. Like I said, I got an aluminum front bumper for it. But I just wanted to explain how I did that. Later on, everybody.